Hello everyone, this is Maureen and welcome to My Crochet Story. Today is Sunday, October the 13th, and we are here to continue our study in how to be still and know that He is our God. And folks, let me tell you, today is a wonderful devotion on learning how to recognize our Father's voice. Now, the title of our devotional for today is Knowing the Shepherd. And the Bible verse that will go along with our devotion comes from John 10, verses 27 and 28. But before we get into this, let me say thank you to each and every one of you that come by every day to be reminded how to be still and listen for your Father's voice. Now, these devotionals that I share with you every day come from this little red book entitled Be Still and Know. You'll find a link for it down in the description box where you can go and get your own copy. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome into you as well. I do hope that you will stay and enjoy today's devotional with us. The only thing I ask of you is that if you enjoy this devotional, think about subscribing to my channel and be sure to look for that bell with the little hugs on the side because it'll let you know every time I upload some content. So let's look at today's content. Knowing the Shepherd. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. I give them eternal life, and they will never perish, and no one will snatch them out of my hand. An international festival is held each year, and the most popular event showcases the talents of Irish sheepdogs. The shepherd uses whistles and quiet voice commands to direct the dog, who in turn herds the sheep through various obstacles and dangers. Audiences marvel at the speed of the dogs and the swift changes in the herd's direction, all due to the effective communication between man, dog, and the sheep. Jesus often spoke about shepherds, calling himself our good shepherd. His followers understood that sheep need help through many obstacles and dangers, just as we do. And we need Jesus to communicate with us in a quiet, familiar voice so we will know which way to turn for safety. Our shepherd has one goal in mind: keep his lambs safe. He hems us in with gentle calls and prodding when necessary. He understands our limits, our tendency to wander, our nature to rebel. In his goodness, he nudges our sides, reminding us to trust him and obey his commands. Jesus, thank you for your voice that leads me. I want to hear from you today. I sit quietly and wait for you, knowing you always have the right thing to say. Many years ago, my husband took me to the Fort Worth Coliseum, and there was a lot of activity going on. I think it might have been Horse Show Week. I really can't remember. But the one thing I do remember is that we stopped in at one of the arenas and watched sheepdogs herding sheep. I was, just as that story told in the very first beginning, I was amazed at how these dogs could get out there with these sheep all scattered in the pen, and with one whistle or a little flick of the hand, boom, those dogs were in action, and they were twisting and turning and herding and getting them right to the area that their owner wanted them to be. And then they would sit there until their owner released them. Now, some of them use whistles, some of them use voice commands. I even remember seeing a gentleman out there with a shepherd's staff. Of course, it didn't have a little hook on it, and he would just sit there and tap the ground, and that's all he did. But the one that fascinated me the most was the man that just stood off to the side, brought his dog in, let his dog get used to the space that they were in, and the next thing you know, that dog was off. I never saw the man flip his hand. I never saw him shout or wiggle a rope or nothing, or a clickety-clack. You know, some folks use clickers. But no, he was just sitting there off to the side. Now, was it noisy in there? Yes, it was, because everybody was oohing and ahhing and clapping, you know, because the dog was doing what he wanted to do. But it was his stance, the way he just stood there and watched his dog do what he was supposed to do. You know, in reading today's devotional, think of Jesus that way. I think of him standing off to the side and directing us gently, quietly. Because if we are being still and listening for his voice and his commands, he doesn't have to use a megaphone to get our attention. He doesn't have to stand there clapping his hands, you know, like a lot of teachers do sometimes. All right, class, come together. Let's get quiet. He doesn't have to do that. And as I said a moment ago, if we are in tune with him, he doesn't have to raise his voice more than a whisper, because his way is gentle. He wants to lead us in a gentle manner. We just have to be open and attuned to hearing him. That's why I feel like that this devotional series we've been looking at, Be Still and Know That He Is Your God, has been so helpful, because it reminds us that no matter how hectic our world gets around us, no matter what we are going through, the storms, the deep valleys where we can't even see daylight, he's there in the quiet, whispering to us, assuring us that all's going to be okay, assuring us that he is right beside us. And in those moments when we feel like we can't take another step, just like in the footprints in the sand, his are the footprints that we see, because he's carrying us. So I do hope that throughout this year you have been taking the time every day to be still, to train yourself more and more and more each day to know when he's talking to you, to know when he is nudging you in a direction that is best for your life and for his glory. Thank you so much, all of y'all, for being here. Please be sure and share this devotional out if you feel like there is someone that needs to be reassured by these words today. Until tomorrow, always remember, be the light out there in the darkness for someone today, because you never know, could be your light that they're waiting to see. I love you guys. Bye.